When life knocks you down without warning, it can feel like the ground beneath you has completely disappeared, leaving you suspended in a moment where everything you believed was stable suddenly becomes uncertain. You may replay the situation over and over in your mind, trying to understand how something that felt so right could fall apart so quickly, and the more you think about it, the more the weight settles on your chest. It is a strange kind of silence, the kind that comes after shock, where your world is still moving but feels distant, like you are watching yourself from the outside. Yet even in that silence, even in that confusion, there is a small, almost invisible strength inside you that refuses to let go, reminding you that despite everything, you are still here, breathing, hurting, but present. In moments like these, it is easy to question your worth and wonder if you somehow deserve the pain that arrives so abruptly. You might feel powerless, as if all your effort and dedication were meaningless, and you might catch yourself thinking that maybe you are simply not enough. But those thoughts come from hurt, not from truth. Feeling broken does not mean you are weak. It means you cared so deeply that losing what you cared about cut into the deepest parts of you. The ache you feel is a reflection of the value you placed on the things you fought for. And even though that ache may overwhelm you now, it also reveals something important. You have the capacity to give, to commit, to put genuine heart into what you believe in. And that ability is not lost just because you stumbled. The moment your life falls apart often becomes the moment you are forced to see things you never noticed before. Pain has a way of clearing the fog, not instantly, but slowly, as if peeling back layers you once ignored. You begin to recognize what truly mattered, what never did, what drained you quietly, and what deserves space in your future. In the middle of heartbreak, disappointment, or failure, you uncover pieces of yourself you did not realize were there, a quiet resilience, a surprising strength, a clarity that forms only when the noise of comfort is gone. These moments of collapse carve out new space inside you, space that will eventually be filled with something stronger, something wiser, something that aligns with who you are becoming rather than who you used to be. Even if you feel like you have reached the lowest point, remember that the lowest point is not a permanent destination, but a temporary position that gives you a new place to stand. You do not have to rise in one heroic motion. Sometimes rising is as simple as choosing to keep going when it would be easier to stop. One breath, one thought, one small action is enough to shift the direction of your life. And even if progress feels painfully slow, it is still progress. Over time, the strength you thought you lost begins to return, not in sudden bursts, but quietly, steadily, as if your soul is stitching itself back together. And when you finally look back, you will see that it was never the fall that defined you, but the decision you made afterward. The decision to rise again even when everything in you felt broken. Asterisk. There's a strange kind of quiet that comes after your life falls apart. A quiet that feels heavier than the chaos that came before it. When everything stops, you are left with the echo of your own thoughts, and sometimes that silence feels louder than any noise. You start noticing all the little things you used to ignore. The way your heart beats too fast when memories appear. The way your chest tightens when you think of what you lost. The way your mind searches for explanations that never come. This quiet space can feel suffocating, like you are trapped with your pain and forced to confront it without distraction. But in this same quiet, something powerful begins to form. A slow awakening that reminds you that even the stillness has a purpose. You may find yourself avoiding the silence at first, trying to fill it with anything that keeps you from feeling the full weight of what happened. People distract themselves with noise because silence demands honesty, and honesty can be terrifying when your heart is bruised. But running from your emotions only stretches the suffering. It never removes it. Eventually, you realize that the only way to move forward is to sit with your pain, to let yourself feel the discomfort instead of hiding from it. The silence becomes a mirror, showing you the parts of yourself that need healing, acceptance, or forgiveness. It is uncomfortable, yes, but it is also the beginning of reclaiming control over your own story. As the days pass, you start to notice that the silence does not hurt as much as it did in the beginning. You still feel the echoes, but they no longer shake you the way they once did. You become more familiar with your own emotions, more aware of what triggers your sadness and what slowly brings you peace. You begin to understand that pain is not a punishment, but a teacher, and the lessons it brings are often the ones that shape you the most. This awareness, subtle and gradual, becomes the foundation upon which your strength grows. You learn to observe your emotions without being consumed by them, and that is when you quietly begin to reclaim your power, and little by little, the silence that once felt suffocating begins to change. Instead of feeling trapped in it, you start to use it as a place to breathe, think, and rebuild. You realize that the quiet is not empty. It is a space where new possibilities are waiting to form. It is where you rediscover what still matters, what still lives inside you despite the pain, and what you want to carry into your future. In that quiet, you begin to feel something you thought you had lost, the faint but unmistakable sensation of hope returning. And it is in that hope, however small, that your journey toward rising stronger truly begins. There comes a moment, after all the hurt and confusion settle, when you slowly realize that staying down will not change anything. The world will not pause for your wounds, and time will not wait for your heart to catch up. You begin to understand that healing is not something that happens to you. It is something you choose. And that choice often begins quietly, in the smallest, almost invisible decision to keep going even when nothing inside you feels ready. This moment does not arrive with a burst of inspiration or dramatic clarity. It comes softly, like a whisper telling you that you cannot stay broken forever, that despite the exhaustion, you still have a life worth fighting for. At first, choosing to stand back up feels impossible. Your mind reminds you of the pain, your heart of the disappointment, and your body of every moment that felt like failure. But rising is not about pretending the pain never existed. It is about acknowledging that the pain is real while refusing to let it control the rest of your life. You do not need to be confident to rise, you only need to be willing. That willingness becomes the spark that pushes you to take one more step. Even if you are trembling, even if the path ahead looks uncertain, every small effort becomes proof that you are not defined by what broke you, but by what you choose to do next. As you start to move forward, you may notice that the world looks slightly different. It is not brighter yet, but it feels less suffocating. You begin to recognize your own strength in ways you never did before. Not because you feel invincible, but because you survived something that once felt impossible to endure. Slowly, your perspective shifts. Instead of focusing on everything you lost, you start noticing what you still have, the resilience to keep walking, the clarity born from pain, and a deeper understanding of yourself. These realizations are not grand or dramatic. They are quiet victories, the kind that rebuild you from the inside out. And with each small victory, your confidence begins to return. You realize that rising is not a single moment, but a process made of countless steps, some steady, some uncertain, but all meaningful. You begin to trust yourself again, to believe that you can handle whatever comes next. Not because life will suddenly become easy, but because you have learned how strong you truly are. And even though the journey ahead may still be long, you no longer see yourself as someone who fell and stayed down, but as someone who stood back up despite everything. That is the beginning of becoming stronger than you were before. As you continue taking small steps forward, something subtle begins to change inside you. It does not happen all at once, and you might not even notice it at first. But there is a quiet shift in the way you breathe, the way you think, and the way you carry yourself. The heaviness that once pressed against your chest starts to feel a little lighter. The thoughts that once tore you apart lose some of their power. You begin to realize that even though the pain has not disappeared, it no longer controls every part of your day. This is the beginning of your strength returning, not in loud or dramatic ways, but in a gentle rise that feels more like soft sunlight breaking through a long, cold morning. You may catch yourself handling situations that once overwhelmed you, and the realization might surprise you. There will be moments when you laugh without forcing it, moments when your mind feels clear, moments when your heart does not ache the way it used to. These small changes are easy to overlook because they do not announce themselves, but they are signs that you are growing past the pain. Every breath you take without feeling crushed, every decision you make with even a little confidence, shows that you are becoming someone stronger than before. Healing does not erase the past, but it gives you the strength to no longer be ruled by it. As your strength builds, you start recognizing that the version of you who suffered is not disappearing. That version is transforming. The pain you carried becomes a kind of wisdom, a deeper understanding of life, of people, and of yourself. You are more aware of your limits, but you are also more aware of your capacity to endure. You begin to trust yourself in ways you never did before because you have seen what you can survive. And with that trust comes a new sense of stability, an inner balance that lets you move through the world with more certainty and less fear. And over time, you notice that the strength returning to you is different from the strength you had before. It is not the naive confidence you once carried, the one that believed everything would always go right. It is a grounded strength, built from the moments you almost broke but didn't. From the tears you wiped alone, from the battles nobody else saw you fight. This new strength is quieter but deeper, shaped by reality instead of hope alone. It does not fade easily because it was earned through every moment you thought you couldn't continue but did anyway. And with this strength, you are finally ready to move into the next chapter of your life, one where you rise not just again, but stronger. There comes a point in your healing where you begin to realize that holding on to everything from your past is no longer helping you. At first, it feels natural to cling to the memories, the expectations, and even the pain because they are familiar. They remind you of what you once had and who you once were. But the more you hold them, the heavier they become, weighing you down every time you try to take a step forward. There is a moment when you look at the pieces of your life that you have been gripping tightly and you feel a deep, quiet truth rising inside you. Some things are not meant to stay forever. Some chapters must close, not because they were bad, but because you cannot grow if you keep living inside them. Letting go is not a single action. It is an emotional process that challenges every part of you. Your mind might understand that certain people, dreams, or expectations no longer fit where you are heading. But your heart resists, hoping things could be different, hoping the past could still find a way to exist in your future. This inner conflict can feel like a tug-of-war between who used to be and who you are becoming. And because the heart remembers every moment, every detail, every feeling, releasing anything can feel like losing a part of yourself. But what you are really doing is making room for a version of you that has been waiting to breathe. As the days pass and you slowly learn to loosen your grip, you begin to see how much space was being taken up by things that no longer supported your growth. You notice how much energy you used to spend trying to hold together something that was already slipping away. And in that clarity, something shifts. You start to realize that letting go is not a sign of giving up. It is a sign of choosing yourself, choosing peace over chaos, choosing growth over comfort, choosing truth over illusion. You are not abandoning the past. You are simply honoring it and setting it down so you can walk forward lighter and stronger. And eventually, you begin to feel a quiet relief in the spaces that were once filled with pain. You begin to breathe more freely, think more clearly, and feel more grounded. What once felt like losing now feels like freeing. What once hurt now begins to heal. This is the moment when you understand that letting go is not about forgetting what happened. It is about releasing the weight of what can no longer follow you into your future. And as you step forward with a lighter heart, you realize that every ending you finally accept becomes the beginning of the strength you are meant to grow. There comes a moment after you begin letting go when you finally see how much weight you had been carrying without even realizing it. You look back at the version of yourself who tried so hard to stay strong, who held everything together even when you were falling apart inside, and you begin to understand just how heavy those burdens truly were. The expectations you placed on yourself, the responsibilities you took on for others, the pressure to be okay even when you were hurting, all of it slowly drained your energy day after day. When you are in the middle of it, you do not notice the weight because you are too busy surviving. But the moment you start releasing it, you suddenly feel the difference between struggling and breathing. It is only when that weight begins to lift that you realize how much it shaped the way you saw yourself. You may have blamed yourself for being tired, unmotivated, or emotionally overwhelmed, without recognizing that you were carrying more than any one person should have to bear alone. You may have believed something was wrong with you because you could not keep up with the demands of a life that was never meant to be carried in silence. But now, as the heaviness slowly fades, you start to understand that the problem was never your strength. The problem was the unrealistic expectation that you had to carry everything without breaking. And that realization becomes a turning point, a softer way of seeing yourself, filled with compassion instead of judgment. As you become aware of the burdens you carried, you also begin to appreciate the resilience that kept you going. You survived moments that should have broken you, You stood up every morning, even when you felt empty. You tried to stay present, even when your mind was clouded with doubt and fatigue. And although those experiences hurt, they also revealed strengths you did not know you possessed. They revealed your endurance, your loyalty, your determination, and the depth of your heart. This deeper understanding of yourself brings a new kind of confidence, not built on perfection, but built on truth. You no longer see yourself as someone who failed. You see yourself as someone who endured more than anyone realized. And once you fully understand the weight you were carrying, you begin to move differently. Your steps feel steadier, your mind feels clearer, and your heart feels lighter. You begin to set boundaries where you once stayed silent. You speak up where you once swallowed your feelings. And you choose peace over chaos because you finally know how expensive your energy is. Understanding the weight you carried does not erase the past, but it empowers you to protect your future. And with each step forward, you become more aligned with the person you are meant to become. Someone aware, someone stronger, someone no longer shaped by the burdens of yesterday. ***,